Alright, this video is by request, and I'm only doing it because I was asked to do it. But I want to start off with a few things. We've been having some really bad storms here. I mean severe for the last 2 days, and as you can see on the map, day 3 is coming, and we are warned about day 4. Yesterday, for hours on end, the tornado sirens were going off, which literally, it's bad enough when it storms, but when the sirens are going off and that barometric pressure drops as low as it does, Kelly loses her freaking mind. So for days, we've had thunderstorms. And yesterday, we had all the tornado sirens. And I mean, we had them flying all around us. The east, the west, the north, and the south of us. Atoka was lit up like a Christmas tree yesterday. Every warning that came down somehow or another involved this town. Luckily, we didn't get hit. But to the east of us did, to the south of us did, to the north of us did, and to the west of us did. Only by a few miles. I mean, it's like they came right to Atoka and just fell apart or bounced around us, or they landed on the other side of us. So we got really, really lucky. Now, I contribute most of that to behind me is a church. And it was Sunday. And when the sirens started going off, those people were in church. And they come barreling out of that church into, they have a huge storm shelter back there. And I can see them right out my window where I'm actually sitting now. And you could hear them praying in there for hours. Finally, they come crawling out and was all getting in their cars. And the sirens went off again. So right back down in there they went. And these people prayed and prayed and prayed. And they didn't stop. And it was like we just had a little bubble over us. Anyway, I'm digressing and getting off track. Kelly had a really hard time. She had several seizures that scared me because it went on for like an hour and a half. Just one after the other. To where literally I just had to keep her on the floor with my body laid over the top of her to keep her from hurting herself. And that's the longest stretch we've ever had to endure with her having seizures like that. And I've never seen them come like that either. Just one after the other. She was exhausted. She had already been up for a couple of days with the thunderstorms, just losing her mind. And when it happens, she won't eat. She won't drink. She paces. She pants. And she salivates. The panting is so hard that I was scared she was on the verge of dehydrating. Needless to say, bless her heart, she's asleep last night. Right now. She slept last night after the storm stopped and everything moved out. But unfortunately, they're going to be coming back in. So I need to get done what I can get done while she's resting. Bless her heart. Okay. Now, and again, I can't tell you the power of intercessory prayer. That's why I keep my little grateful list. I start all my prayers off. I don't even like calling them that. The time I spend with him, really. I start each my day off with my little gratitude list. I go through gratitude first. The things that I'm grateful for. The people I'm grateful for. And I try to include the most minute little things because those are the things I'm most grateful for. I am not a materialistic person. Less is more to me. I don't want a bunch of stuff. The less I have to take care of, the easier it is on me. And I'm just not materialistic. But then I intercede. There's a few of you that I know personally that have been to my home, spent time with me, been to the events we've had, and I keep you in my intercessory prayers. But I know there are some of you out there that don't, that need this, and you just, I don't have you on my list. If you donate to my channel, you're automatically on my list. Whether I'm just using a avatar name or a business name, it's irregardless. You're there. And but those of you who don't or can't donate, but need to be on that list, just ask in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to add you to that list, because the fervent prayer of just one person can change so much. I used to teach my son when he was small, and every night we'd go to bed and pray, and we would go through, just like now, the things we were thankful for and those we wanted to keep in our prayers, in quotations, so to speak. And we would always send out a special prayer for one person in the world that nobody was praying for, and we would let the Holy Spirit or the Father choose who that prayer was for. They knew who needed it the most. And that was the most important part of our prayer. And that's how we ended our prayers, with that one person that nobody knew needed prayer, but that he knew needed prayer. So be glad to add you to that list. Just put your name in your request in the comment section. Now, I need to get on through this about that. I have noticed I don't really keep up with analytics, subscribers, none of that, because my channel's not monetized. You'll never hear me say like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I know it's aggravating. Every channel you watch does it. You got to go through their little spiel, like, share, subscribe. Then you got to go through the ads and the commercials and all that crap. And I really dislike it, and I refuse to have it on my channel. So I could care less about analytics. But when I popped on my dashboard, I did notice it, and I've never really noticed it before. But just on the last video I put out, my average view duration is only 22 minutes and 49 seconds out of almost an hour-long video. So I know y'all don't have a lot of time, and my videos can get out of hand. So you're only watching less than half of the video, and you never make it to the end. So that's why I'm putting all this at the beginning of this video. And I'll also ask you, if my videos have helped you, won't you help me keep them coming to you? You can find the information in the description box for PayPal, Venmo, or even my mailing address. Alright, I think I've covered everything there. Now, going on to the meat of this video. Alright, I was asked to look at Election Day tomorrow. To me, whatever's going to happen tomorrow was decided a long time ago. And I'm not talking about last year or the year before. I'm talking decades in advance. These people, this script they're writing, this dichotomy of good versus evil, dark versus light, left versus right, this is a theme that plays out over and over and over. It's how they keep us at each other instead of combined our strength at them. The sun, here's today. Let me go ahead and put it till tomorrow. I'm going to kick it up. And I generally, when I do a video for a day, I'm going to put it at noon, at 12 o'clock noon, because that gives you a middle-of-the-road look at what the day's going to be like. So I'm going to kick it. I'm going to put it a couple minutes before. That way, it can just keep on ticking. The sun in Libra, almost at the top of that balance. You know, Libra is about balance and justice. It's cardinal air. It's the most high of heaven. It's our Father who art in heaven, if you want to be literal about it. There are two fathers. Fathers can only be on the cardinal cross. So you have one Father in heaven in Libra, and then you have one in fire or light that's in Aries. We also have Mercury moving into Scorpio, Venus in Ophiuchus, which is just the upper house of Scorpio. It is a separate constellation, but it is not the 13th sign. And I know a lot of astrologers are using it. They have been since 2012. And that's their prerogative. I'm not an astrologer. I don't know crap about solar or lunar astrology. I leave that to them. But I know alchemy. And I know this circle. And I know it's an alchemical magic circle. And you can't just bring in a 13th sign. I agree. There are 13 signs. But that's because Gemini is split. And we're shown that over and over throughout mythology, how Gemini got split, because it's the twins. It's the twins. So that is a house divided. You can go back to the Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau. We know it in our time as Ephraim and Manasseh. Joseph was carried off into Egypt, and when he passed, he had 2 children whose mother was Egyptian, and so he divided the house. We know it as Remus and Romulus. At least I do. Anyway, so it's a house divided. That's why there are 13, but it is not Ophiuchus. I can call any constellation above the zodiac. To me, there's a whole nother circle up there, because these are the old Greek legends. When you talk about, this is Hercules and the serpent holder, which are literally one and the same. You have the story of Arcturus. You have the story of Perseus and the head of Medusa. Pegasus. I mean, these are all the old Greek legends. But again, they are not part of the zodiac circle itself, even though the planets do appear to move through them. They are still bound by the element that is in the zodiac, whether it's above or below. So, and that's just the alchemy of it all. Not astrology, the alchemy of it all. Gonna have the moon tomorrow at 16.9% in Sagittarius. Again, I'm not a lunar astrologer, but in alchemy, the moon is considered a reflection. And it's what you choose to show people. There's a hidden aspect to it. The sun shines, but the moon only reflects that light. It's not the real light, it's just a reflection of that light. So, it's not the real you, it's only the reflection of you. What you choose to show people. Because there's always a dark side, right? The dark side of the moon. You put your good foot forward, your best face forward. That kind of looking at what the moon is. But the moon's moving into Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. It's part of the mutable cross. Anything on the mutable cross, when you're marking a timeline, whether it's your natal chart, a building going up, an event in your life, the things that are on that mutable cross are the things that will change. That's what they will transmutate. That's what it's for. It's there to make that change. So, to me, if we're talking election, and again, Sagittarius is about ideology, philosophy, and again, there are 3 deacons. So you have what I call the old philosophy, which were Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, that kind of thing. And then you have the new psychology, which is Freud, Jung, all of that. But then you have the ancient one, or the tribal one, which is the shaman. And it is a different type than the old Greek and the modern day philosophy and ideology. It has given birth to what we call atheism. So you have a lot of communism, atheism, that all falls here in Sagittarius in our time. So there's going to be transmutation of that, or how it is shown to us. It's good side reflection, but there will be a transmutation. So this is going to be a battle of ideology. But the sun at the same time is on the cardinal cross. And it's in the sign of balance. It's in the sign of justice. And as most of you know, being as we're speaking of America, we have a messed up justice system. Symbolically, the statue of the Lady Liberty stands on top of the Supreme Court building, and she's blindfolded, and her scales are off balance, and we call it a criminal justice system. There's no such thing as victim's justice. The victim just has to fend for themselves. There is no justice for the victim in our current system. And again, it's called criminal justice for a reason. It is designed to protect the criminals. So this is odd. You have the sun on the cardinal cross in Libra, and you have the moon in Sagittarius on the mutable cross, ready for change. The way that we see things, what's shown to us is going to change. But you have Mercury and Venus in Scorpio on the fixed cross in the middle. Now, Scorpio, to me, well, number one, it is fixed water. And that really is about Europe, or the white race, literally. And right now we're dealing with a mutable white race, which is Pisces. But this is fixed, so I consider it more Eastern Europe than Western Europe. So you have these two. Now, the thing about the way my brain works is it all has to do with symbols. And these two, Venus and Mercury, let's see if I can do this. The symbol for Venus that we know, that we use today, it's a circle with a cross. This is Venus. In the Egyptian, they bring this circle right down onto the cross, and we call it an Ankh. An Ankh is the symbol for Venus. To make this same symbol is for Mercury, but all you do is you add the little devil horns. I'm going to say that again. You add the devil horns. He's the little red devil. That's Mercury. And their symbol is very close. They look a lot alike. If you took an Ankh and you hang it on a necklace, you notice in all the old glyphs, it's in the hand. Because if you put it on a necklace, the necklace itself turns it into, it changes the symbol from Venus to Mercury. Again, Mercury is what I call the imposter. He wears many masks. He impersonates everybody on the board. He's an actor, a character that plays every part. And again, he rules Gemini. He's a twin. He's two-faced, right? He rules that Gemini split energy, that mutable air. And this is fixed, and this is the heart chakra and the mind. It's the heart and the mind. The heart and the mind. The intellect. That chattering monkey I'm always complaining about that never shuts up. Still my favorite, Saturn, still retrograde. Let me check. Yes, still retrograde. In the water of life. This is the last chance to dance, where Saturn is concerned on that fixed cross. And right now, while he's in retrograde, I call it the gloves are off, because this is down and dirty. The elite, those in power, whether it's the candidates or not, those above him, the gloves are off when Saturn's in retrograde. It's no holds barred. They're going to throw all the dirt they can throw on both sides. Again, this is on the fixed cross. So this is aspecting Venus and Mercury in Scorpio. And Venus, Mercury, and Saturn rule air and earth. Which is funny because tornadoes whirl the air and they tear up the earth at the bottom. Getting a lot of that through here. The whirlwind, spoken a lot about in the Old Testament. Uranus, the conscience mind. Oh, back up. Let me go Pluto, because Pluto is on the cardinal cross in Capricorn, and it's aspecting the sun in Libra. So that's the subconscious mind is tied directly to the sun. And that's exposure of what's going on subconsciously. Saturn aspecting Venus and Mercury, the crown chakra, the heart chakra, and the throat chakra. What comes out of the mouth is what's in the mind. Uranus, the conscience mind, on that fixed cross. So it's also aspecting the Venus, the Mercury, and the Saturn, because they're all on the fixed cross. So you got Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Venus, and Mercury, all on the fixed cross. The conscious mind is being aspected by upper chakra energy. The fixed cross is being totally controlled by upper chakra energy, except Jupiter. Neptune is in Pisces on the mutable cross. So you've got Neptune, the imagination, go here to Pisces, the imagination is aspecting the moon. Also Jupiter's house. Pisces and Sagittarius both ruled by Jupiter, both on the mutable cross. And when Pisces itself is about illusion, not so much, it has become delusion, but its base energy is illusion. It's a trick. It's fake. It's not real. It's Maya. It's illusion. So you have the moon, and the imagination can really get out of control today. And both of them are up for transmutation. Jupiter, everybody loves being in Taurus. I don't know why. Never really figured that out other than fixed earth. Fixed earth, it's stable. It's the true Garden of Eden type energy, where everything grows and everything grows big and in abundance. And it's not really harvest time. It's growth time. It's the end of spring coming into summer, when everything's just blooming and producing that fruit, when the fruit starts to produce. And so it's abundance. And Taurus is also that earth energy that deals with not just today but the future. Those who are Taurus, it's like use money. The people, the earth people, earth sign in Taurus, they save their money. All earth signs save money. They make money and they save money. But it's the way they spend it that's different. And the earth sign here, when they spend their money, they want value for it. They want credit for it. Sometimes they'll buy a present for somebody else or buy a present for themselves. But it's to impress someone. If they buy it for someone else, it's to impress that person. If they buy it for themselves, it's to show off to the other person to impress. It's very materialistic. It's very materialistic, which I guess that's why Jupiter does so well there. Jupiter ruling empire, expansion, more. So I can see how, and that's really what's on everybody's mind. Uranus, the conscious mind, because everybody is in lack right now. Well, Jupiter here is about more. Is Jupiter still retrograde? Jupiter is still retrograde, so it's thinking outside of the box to get more. Just as Saturn, the gloves are off, no holds barred in this battle, Jupiter is out of the box. He's not confined intellectually. And here's your intellectually with Uranus, the conscious mind, right there. So on the forefront of everybody's mind is, again, it's the money, it's the economy, because everybody is suffering. And it's not just America, this is worldwide. they're doing a reset. I'll get to that at the end of this video of what that word really means. And we'll take a look at that. But because their language is not our language. So think outside of the box, which is what I'm trying to do lately. Everything I've tried to apply myself to is being taken over by AI. The bottom's falling out from it like it is everybody. So again, something I want to add right here, because I didn't put it at the beginning of the video, and you don't stay to the end, is, hey, I'm looking for extra online work. If anybody knows of anything where I might make some extra cash online, please put it in the comments section below. I'll be glad to look into it. I'm not picky, and I'm looking for anything. Now here's the big one. Back to that cardinal cross. We got the sun on the cardinal cross. And what else do we have? We have the sun on the cardinal cross. We have the subconscious mind on the cardinal cross. And that's it. And Mars. So we got Mars is right now is almost directly opposite of Pluto in Capricorn. And Mars is that root chakra, that emotions. And the subconscious mind is Cthulhu, right? All kind of crazy shit can come from there. And so fear, that's what, especially what they push. But the problem right here is it more tells you the outcome of things than how they get started. Mars is debilitated in Cancer. This is cardinal water. This is mama's house. This is home. These are the people in your family. You don't get to choose your family, but these are the people in your family. But when Mars is debilitated here, whoever throws the first stone loses the war. Wars should never be started when Mars is in Cancer. So any conflict, which is really what elections are, and what elections are about, it's not whether or not we're going to have a war, it's who's going to run it, who's going to make the money off of it. Because that's what governments do. They start wars. And the corporations make the money off of it and bribe the politicians to start the wars so they can make money off of it. And it's just this never-ending cycle. But here, if there's a conflict started, which Mars is being debilitated, means no war. Don't start fights in your family. Just walk away. As a matter of fact, even if somebody else starts them, try to disengage. You don't want in a conflict at all when Mars is debilitated, because you have emotional debilitation. You can almost feel detached emotionally when Mars is here. It's a good time to learn to disassociate, to separate yourself, to be that observer, to do that rise above thing. It's a good time to overcome your emotions. Overcome your emotions. And you've got the power of the sun in Libra to facilitate that. And the big problem is it's totally opposed to the subconscious. Totally opposed. Now, unfortunately, because it's election, instead of Mars literally opposing the emotions, opposing the subconscious, a lot are going to embrace it. But if you do choose to follow the lead here and oppose that subconscious, then it's a chance to, hear me, overcome your fears. To just be courageous, and regardless of what you think the outcome will be, and just say no to those fears. Just be courageous. Just say no to the fear, step up, disengage from the emotions, and do what's right, not what you're triggered to do. No triggering. Don't let it trick you into triggering, because that's what it's going to do there. Especially opposing Pluto, that subconscious. Let's talk about Pluto the subconscious for a second, because the symbology for the subconscious is a black square. Again, this is where I differ with people about Saturn, because to me, the black cube is the collective subconscious. It doesn't have anything to do with Saturn. Nothing. Saturn is the crown chakra. It's the furthest thing to do from Saturn. When you graduate college, you get the black square. That is your individual programming symbolism for the subconscious. They have programmed you for how many ever years, and it's embedded in your subconscious. And when you have the black cube, that's the collective subconscious. This is a symbol of the elite. They walk around and around the black cube in Mecca. And the Jewish tradition, they stand at that wall and they put that black cube right between the eyes on their third eye symbolism. And they put the black cube there and they bob back and forth chanting. In the UN, they have a meditation room, or their religion room, their prayer room, or whatever they want to call it, and the only thing in there is a black cube. Now, I grew up, just like all of us did, sitting in front of that black cube television. Why are they black? The computer screens, they're black. Because it's programming the subconscious mind. When you do something over and over and over and over again, you can do it in your sleep. Kung Fu. That's what Kung Fu means. You do it. You can do it so often you can just put on a blindfold and do it. You don't need to see it because it's embedded in you. It's in your subconscious. When they did the 911 thing, we've all seen the pictures of the barge that was sitting right there in the water with the big black cube on it. They brought the black cube over for that event because they were triggering a ritual for the subconscious. Again, this is why they removed Pluto from the planets. And they tell you Pluto's not a planet. Because, again, that's a psychological thing. Now, to me, if you want to understand Pluto, all you have to do is do your homework and do some research on reverse speech. David Oates, the father of reverse speech, I think he's Australian, he's got a YouTube channel. He's turned on the CIA. This is where they get all the backmasking and music and stuff. And people used to think that they went in there and they actually wrote these songs so that when you played them backwards, they'd do that. No, that's not what's going on. That shit's real. When you say something, two people can say exactly the same thing. But when you play it backwards, the reversal will be different for each person because it's their subconscious speaking. When your subconscious works in reverse or speaks in reverse. David Oates, look that up. You won't regret learning about reverse speech. And he does a lot of reversals for all kind of stuff, including politicians, celebrities, all kind of stuff. Really look into that. So because Mars is in Cancer, myself personally, I'm not expecting a big kaboom tomorrow. I'm just not. As a matter of fact, I think all we're going to get is a bunch of rhetoric, a bunch of runaround. Again, I said this in my last video. We haven't had, if we ever had anything even resembling a real election, 2016 ended that. 2020 was a coup. More on the American people. The coup was on us. The joke's on us. Because that was planned all along. And so is whatever's coming tomorrow. It's planned all along. All of this is. It's a script. They've wrote it out. It's not real. It's like they're setting us up. They're setting the church up for the second coming of Christ. And it's all fake. It's not time. It's the wrong season. It's the wrong everything. we're not running out of time. It's before time, but they're pulling it off. They faked everybody out. As far as I'm concerned, my particular view, which has morphed and changed like everybody else's, but I come to understand a while back now, just when all this started to click for me, was, hey, I think we've already been through the 1,000 years. I think that we are at, obviously, Satan has been loosed. Obviously. Well, that can't happen until after the 1,000 years have been fulfilled. And it's obvious Satan has been loosed out of the pit. And we see demons infesting people all around us. Familiar spirits. A demon doesn't have to look like a boogeyman. A demon can appear as an angel of light. So do beware. So to me, the only thing left to happen, we're told very little about what happens after Satan is released out of the pit, other than he's got a short time and his game is deception. And right now, that's the name of the game, is deception. On all sides, about everything. Everything is a frickin' lie and deception. Which is another reason I believe we're at the end of that 1,000 years. And so who does that make us? Well, we're told that the Son of God had this 1,000-year millennial reign, and only those who had his mark, and not the mark of the beast, were going to get to participate in that 1,000 years. And then Satan would be loosed for a short season. And here's the big one. The rest of the dead would not live again till the 1,000 years were fulfilled. So I guess that makes us the rest of the dead. That we've already been dead in our sins. So from here on out, that only leaves one option. And we're told the next thing that happens is the camp of the saints is surrounded by this Gog and Magog battle, because that's why he's here, deceive the nations, to gather them together to the battle of Gog and Magog, Yajuj and Majuj. And that they surround the camp, he stops the battle, and judgment happens for everybody. And in that judgment, you are judged on your works. Not your faith, not your belief, not your symbolism, not your mark of the beast or mark of God, none of that. You're judged on your works. That's karma. That's action and reaction. That's you reap what you sow. It's a whole different ball game after that 1,000 years than it is before. This is a reason I keep telling you to bank your karma. Commit those random acts of kindness, but do it from the heart. Do it in love. Do it expecting nothing in return, other than you. The only love of God there is on this planet is what you, God through you, puts out into the world. And you can put out the anger of the evil one, or you can put out the love of God. But of ourselves, we do nothing. We're a bunch of lazy, we just want to lay around in the Garden of Eden in some tropical paradise, eat fruit all day, play games, and do nothing. That's what humanity wants to do. We don't want to work, we don't want to fight, we just want to play games on the playground and all live happily ever after and all get along la-di-da-di-da. But that's not what's going down here. Now again, tomorrow, I don't see nothing but a bunch of frustration. That's one thing about Mars here. Because Mars ruling those emotions. And the emotions here is frustrating. Because it's hurry up and wait. It's hurry up and do nothing. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, opposite this. It's do. And here it's do not. Do not engage. Do not provoke. Do not respond. Do not reply. Do not. You have do and do not. Let and let not. That's Mars there. But here comes the sun. What day is it going to be between those balances? On 11/11. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm not shocked. It's pretty much right there every year. We call that the Day of Remembrance, Veterans Day. Let me bring it back. I think I've about covered it there. I don't think I left anybody or anything out. Now, could something crazy happen tomorrow? Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if it does, the person doing it or the group doing it will go down. They're writing their own incarceration or death certificate, their own loss. They're doing it to themselves. You've heard that saying, nobody did this to you but you. And I totally believe this about life anyway. It's taking responsibility for your actions. I've had a lot of crazy shit happen to me in my life, but I look back on it and I can say without a doubt that it happened to me because I let it happen to me. I learned that in that cotton field that day I opened my third eye. I was gifted with one thing, and that was courage. And that I could say no. And I could stand up and fight against it, even if it killed me. Because we let. I have let other people abuse me. I could have walked away way sooner. Notice the warning signs and get the hell out instead of staying till the ambulances and the cops show up. We allow. Because we have this false sense of hope that we can change these people. Hell, we have enough trouble ruling ourselves. What makes us think we can change somebody else? As Matt would say, worry about yourself. You do you. You do you. He'll sort everybody out. So the big change, the big transmutation is the way we see things, the moon. And it's the way we philosophically and ideology see things will begin to change, because it's beginning to come into Sagittarius. And it's tied directly to this Neptune over here in the imagination, in the house of illusion, the house of religion. Jupiter rules religion and atheism. I want you to think about that for a minute. Talking about cornering the market on mind control, on the narrative, as he's got you in his pocket either way. And Jupiter again rules empire, expansion. You have to look at, one of the beasts that comes up, I think it's the one that comes up out of the sea, I'll have to look, or out of the earth, one of the two, and they represent governments on the world. They weren't just governments, they represented empires, which ties directly to Jupiter. You had the Babylonian Empire, the Medes and the Persian Empire. A lot of people like to throw Egypt in there, but I have to say, what we know about Egypt, what we've been taught, is Egypt was never an empire. They never looked to expand beyond their own borders. I guess they could be empire because Rome kind of did that. Rome used to be empire and expansion outward, but which was Jupiter in Sagittarius. But when they swapped it to religion and the Vatican took over Rome, they ruled them through the kings, through tributaries, through provinces, and but today, like the British Empire, they directly rule over their empire. The king is the head of that empire. King Charles is the head of that. It's the British Empire. So when you talk about these 7 heads and 10 horns and all that, those are empires. Right now we've got what you call, what has he told us? 5 have passed, one is, and then one's coming. Let me hold here a minute. I'm sorry, I have to cut this off. We just got another tornado warning, emergency alert, So I'm shutting this down. Hope it makes it through processing before I lose power. Go commit those random acts of kindness. We're going to need them. You're banking karma. Your works will follow you from here on out. All right, if this channel's helped you, won't you please help me keep it coming to you? You know, out of several thousand views, I only get maybe 2 or 3 donations per video per month. I have one person that donates to me regularly, and I really appreciate you. You know who you are.